Now I'm at the wheel of a D-MAX LSU Plus. It just so happened that Isuzu had a spare D-MAX. They offered to loan it to us for a few months for a bit more tow testing, and what better opportunity to do a bit of a tow test, even though I have looked at this vehicle quite extensively in the past. Now we do have it hitched up to a hike RV that weighs about 3 tonne at tear, and it's got about 240 kilos on the ball at the moment, and we were just doing about 100 Ks on the freeway. The vehicle is as steady as I remember it to be. It really is a pretty solid towing platform. In terms of engine performance, from a standing start, it doesn't really have any problems, even with 3 tonne on the back, getting up to speed, as we'll see right now actually. So if I put my foot down a little bit, you know, I'm not having any issues whatsoever keeping up with traffic and getting this combination going. And of course you always do need to be very, very careful about your caravan placement on the road when you've got 22 foot 6 inches worth of tandem axle caravan on the back. For me, one of the tests of a towing vehicle is to what extent you really feel the caravan back there. And now when you're at cruising speed, 80, 100 Ks an hour, obviously you're still aware of the big van on the back, but it doesn't feel like it's holding the vehicle back. Although being on an incline right now, it's not quite as quick to get going, but on flat surfaces, you know, it does a really good job. Now this is a 2024 model. Now Isuzu does have some interesting things coming up with the D-MAX. They've got the Blade, which promises to be a pretty special off-road 4x4. But for now, we've got the LSU Plus. So let's get to our destination and have a closer look. The curb weight of this vehicle is 2,110 kilos, and it has a GVM of 3,100 kilos, giving it a payload capacity of 990 kilos.
Meanwhile, the gross combined mass is 6,000 kilos.
And the D-MAX is still rated to 3,500 kilos with 350 kilos on the tow ball. Nothing's changed there. But all of these facts and figures does mean that if you were to tow a caravan with an ATM of 3,500 kilos and it was fully loaded right to the hilt, you would want to be a little bit careful, because that would mean theoretically a tow ball download of 350 kilos and an actual caravan weight of 3,150 kilograms. And all of that means that you'd have a payload allowance inside the vehicle of 390 kilos to account for things like passengers and luggage and that sort of thing. But again, this is a scenario in which the caravan is loaded right to the hilt with a 3.5 tonne ATM, and in the real world, that's probably a little bit unlikely. Now, as you'd probably know, the D-MAX has a 3-litre turbo diesel engine as well as a 6-speed gearbox. The engine does 450 Newton meters and 140 kilowatts, which plus or minus, you know, is more or less on par with its competitors. But for me, this D-MAX has become a bit of a favourite. Oh, and if you didn't know, there's also a 1.9 litre engine option in 3 of the 4x2 variants and 1 of the 4x4 variants. Now, I've got no experience whatsoever with the 1.9 litre model, but Isuzu has said that they'll loan me a 1.9 litre version of the MUX early in the new year. Now, this 2024 D-MAX, it was given a pretty major facelift in response to customer feedback. It still has all those safety features that were developed for the 3rd generation D-MAX, but they've been updated significantly. So as an example, the Gen 4 stereo camera hardware scans the road ahead and to the sides, identifying pedestrians and hazards with greater speed and accuracy. There's also a new intelligent adaptive cruise control, which uses the speed zone data identified by the vehicle's traffic sign recognition system, which helps the driver to match their vehicle speed to the posted speed limit, and I've come to like that system. Also, based on customer feedback, are improvements to the lane keep assist function. The steering intervention is much smoother and it better tracks the centre of the lane rather than reacting to those outer lane markings. That's one thing I've really noticed on the 2024 model. The lane keep assist is so much smoother now, whereas in the past it was a little bit jerky or a little bit too interventionist for my liking. But this new 9-inch infotainment system is the heart of the cab. Again, the idea here was to address customer feedback, and Isuzu has come up with something that's actually pretty good. And for off-road enthusiasts, it includes an inclinometer as well as terrain command 4x4 drive mode, so the driver can view essential systems about the car with a simple tap or a simple swipe of the screen. But one small observation, look, I'm not a huge fan of this traditional handbrake lever. I mean, yes, it's perfectly fine, it does the job, but the rest of the interior feels so refined and advanced with leather accents in the LSU Plus. You've got all the tech of the dashboard, the infotainment system, you've got an 8-way power adjustable seat. So to not have a push button for the handbrake, it just seems like a slight letdown, that's all. On the whole though, the D-MAX really is a solid workhorse. Isuzu hasn't rested on its laurels with either the MUX or this Ute. It's done a good job keeping up and even surpassing its competitors in a number of areas. And as a tow vehicle, as I said, I still like it. It can manage a pretty heavy load without feeling unstable when it's towing. From a standing start, it doesn't take too long to get up to speed and you never really feel like you're slowing the traffic down. Yes, as I said, you still feel like you've got the van back there, but the van and the vehicle, they feel quite integrated. So as a towing platform, the D-MAX continues to rate pretty highly.